Welcome to another edition of the Sports Rush Live. It is a Sunday, and we are at a special time because tonight there is some kind of big football game going on. So we decided, why do we want to go against the some kind of big game? I don't know.
Is it that big? Is it that big? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's, a team from way out west against a team from way out east. Do we really even care? Well, the media hype has made it that everybody seems to care about these two football teams. After, I guarantee, Adam, in our area, no one's watched these two teams play all year long. If you were scanning the television remote and you came across either one of these teams, Seattle and New England, you skipped and watched PBA bowling. I mean, there's no way you watch those two teams play. But we have to be hyped about it today, man.
I mean, if you're a Colts fan, you might have been looking to see if the Patriots lose, because that's always a good time for Patriots or for Colts fans. I'm sure a lot of our fans who are Colts fans are probably going to be rooting for the Seahawks today, just because of how much disdain there is for the Patriots organization. There seems to be.
Got to make myself more presentable. I got to actually look at a mirror once in a while. I just realized
I like the hat.
I look like a bum.
No.
But anyway, we're used to doing radio where appearance means nothing. So we don't even worry about looking in a mirror. And all of a sudden I get on here and I look at our monitor and I'm like, oh, I don't even think the collar wasn't even right. It was tucked in. All right. So we got to talk about the Sports Rush here on YouTube, on X, on Facebook, wherever you're watching us. Hey, we do ask you, though, if you get a chance to get onto the YouTube side, that you do give us a subscription, subscribe. And you know what that means? Almost nothing. Almost nothing. The only thing it is it gives you an extra tab to be able to watch our videos. We go to our channel a little more accessibly. But there's not like a bunch of stuff that's going to get emailed to you or requests for money, or it's not going to cost you anything to be a subscriber. So do us a favor and click subscribe, please, and share the channel and ask your friends to subscribe. We really could use that assistance and that help. We jumped in, got a bunch of subscribers right away, and now it's kind of a trickle. So if you can help us, we would love to see some new subscribers to the channel. Also, it always helps with YouTube algorithms if you're clicking all those other buttons, leaving us comments, maybe giving us a thumbs up saying, hey, you like this video. And you can leave a comment for today's live show, which we can respond to right away, because we are live and we are here until somewhere in the vicinity of 1 o'clock. But I got back last night about 1 o'clock after a Mastodons road trip to Dayton.
Yeah.
And what a crazy game that was.
Yeah, I mean, from coming down, from being down so far to, getting all the way back to having a 3-point lead in the second half, but couldn't hold on.
Down 14 at halftime. And probably even fortunate that it was only 14. I mean, got smoked in that first half. And we're down 43-29 at the break. And it wasn't looking good. Not at all. I mean, the Dons coming off a 29-point loss the previous game at home to Youngstown State, who is near, I can't say the bottom, but they're the lower part of the mid-pack of the Horizon League standings.
Mm-hmm.
So as a team you expected to beat, you had beaten Youngstown State on the road, and I think that in part was to blame for why the Mastodons didn't play particularly well against Youngstown State. But no excuses. You lose by 29 points, and then you come out your next game thinking, oh, man, they're going to be hungry like tigers. And then they come out the next game, go to Wright State. And Wright State, who had gotten beat their previous game, they were equally as hungry. And Wright State just absolutely was smoking the Mastodons in that first half. Dons didn't execute much offensively, didn't take hardly anything away from Wright State in that first half. And thought, well, we're halfway to another 29-point loss.
Yeah, it was tough. And then all of a sudden, it's like in the second half, I was just, I'm there producing the game in the studio, and I'm listening, of course, but then it's still caught up on me. It's like all of a sudden, it's a 5-point game. Oh, it's like, whoa, what happened there? But no, great response. to start the second half.
Came out with an added intensity, a little extra bounce in the step, took things away on the defensive end from Wright State. I mean, they held a Wright State team that scores about 80 points per game to 30 second half points and gave themselves a chance in this one after being completely blown out the first half. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough time left in the game. And, well, I guess there was, because at one point the Mastodons led. Maybe there was too much time.
Right, right. You
What
had
was
your run too
crazy
early.
Yeah, what was crazy is, it took almost no time. I think it was, what, 7 or 8 minutes, 9 minutes into the second half, and the
Yeah,
Mastodons had flipped a 14-point deficit into a 3-point lead
yeah. No,
and had outscored, Wright State, I think at that point, 19-1, and, just dominating the game. And then Wright State, they have their hero, and unfortunately, he has a local address. Comes back to haunt the Mastodons. Helen Pickett, former Blackhawk Christian player, opted to go to Wright State and statistically was not shooting the three-pointer well collegiately. Now, we know he could shoot it in high school. And so you thought, well, he's probably at some point going to hit some shots. We just didn't want him to hit 3 of them in about a minute and a half when the Mastodons were holding a 3-point lead. That's exactly what he did. 3 consecutive three-pointers for Kellen Pickett, and a 3-point lead turned into a 8-point deficit eventually. And the Mastodons fought like heck, got it down to 3, and had a shot that could have tied it with like 3 seconds left. So it was a heck of a game if you only listen to the second half.
yeah, the first half definitely one to forget. But like we were saying, you like to see the positives, but you would have liked to see the positives come in a win. We're not a fan of lessons learned in losses or positives from losses.
You know, we get so hung up on these regular season games because we are totally entrenched in the present. And you get a big loss, and man, that night you're miserable. And you go on the road and let one slip away that you had a chance to win. Would have been a huge win to knock off the first place team and to bunch up the top of the standings and be only a game back of first place. That's what could have happened if the Dons would have won last night. But ultimately, this is a league, as a one-bid league, that the only thing that matters is, can you win the first week of March? That's it.
Yep.
And all of this charade that we go through during the course of 3 months is just to figure out who plays who when that tournament rolls around and when they play. And we do know that third place is much better than fourth or fifth because of the way the bracket is set up. And the Dons fell out of third place last night, and now they're in fourth, but they get a chance to get third place back because the team that leapfrogged them by a half a game is the next opponent in Green Bay. And that's on the road up there in the frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It's gonna be cold, man. You ready? You ready for the cold?
Is it going to be cold? It's
Well,
going to be fairly warm here next week. I saw a forecast that had temps in the 50s.
I know. I just hear Green Bay in February and assume it's going to be cold, but
When
hopefully
it gets to the 50s, is there still grass under this snow, or has everything been like
we'll
killed?
find out eventually.
We just
And
have a dirt surface. Does it feel like we've had snow on the ground for like forever? Do you remember the last time we actually had green grass?
green grass, no. I can remember the last time there wasn't snow on the ground, but the grass was already dead. But no, this snow has lasted a long while. It's never gotten really much higher above freezing since we've gotten the first big snowfall. What,
No, we
in
keep adding
mid-January?
to it. Little layers of 1 to 2 inches, just added to it and added to it. But anyway,
Yeah.
so last night, the Mastodons had the 3 threes, 4 in total. Now, here's the thing about Pickett. For the whole season, you've played 24 games, I think it is. Okay. Do you want to guess how many threes he had? Maybe not you guess, because I think I said this on the broadcast last night. This would be a test to see if you actually paid attention. But I wonder if anybody that's watching right now can comment on this and give us an answer. How many threes did Kellen Pickett make in the first 24 Wright State games? Combined, total. How many three-pointers had he made going into last night's game for the entire season? Now, remember, he had 4 last night, but how many had he made through the first 24 games? And we'll give you a moment to answer that. But no, it was kind of a crazy finish because the Mastodons went to the free throw line. They were down by 3, and it's a 1-1. And you're thinking 2 free throws here by CJ Hadnot. You can make it a 1-point game. You can foul. And even if they make 2 free throws, you're still in the game down by 3. He missed the front end of the 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow the Dons, who are not a good rebounding team, tipped out the rebound, the ball off the rim, tipped it out, got it, drove into the lane, kicked it out, and DeAndre Craig got a very good look from the left wing. Now, with my position at the end of the scores table, I'm positioned pretty close to foul line extended, right? So when he took the 3, he was in front of me. I had the perfect view of that shot from directly behind DeAndre Craig to see it was right on line. That thing left his hand, had good rotation, was dead center of the cup. And I'm ready to give it my biggest call of the night, right?
Right. You're getting that,
We're going to tie the game here with less than 2 seconds. And
it's
it airballed
Yeah.
right over the rim.
Too much juice on that thing. Too much mustard on that
Still
hot
too
dog,
much
brother.
hype.
Yeah, that's a big moment. That's tough. Definitely tough.
Nobody got our answer. Nobody got our answer.
I was just going to ask you, or I was going to say, you wonder if Kellen Pickett had a little motivation playing against the hometown team, but he was shooting them, and like you said, he made 4 last night, and before that,
the whole season, through 24 games, he'd made 5 3-pointers.
5. Count them 5.
Made 4 last night. 3 of them were 60% of what he had made throughout the season. We're within about a minute and a half, and it flipped a game that the Dons were leading and gave Wright State an 8-point lead.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, that was the game right there.
And to your point, absolutely, I am sure that there's always got to be something extra when you're taking on the team right there in your hometown.
For sure.
Who at one point was talking to you, recruiting you. The difficult thing, it comes down to decisions where you have to look at the profile of the player you really need when you get down to a final roster spot or 2. And, the thing with the Mastodons is you have to have established yourself as a great 3-point shooter. And the ironic part here is I don't think the Mastodons considered him a great 3-point shooter. Statistically, it looked like they were right because he was only shooting at 19% on the year.
Right.
And then what comes back to beat you is 3-point shot.
Oh, that's sports. That's sports irony for you right there.
But congratulations to the Mastodons. CJ Hadnot.
Yes.
With his 9th point last night, which he went to the free throw line with 7 points. So he had to make both free throws. I asked him after the game, did you realize you went to the line with 998 points and had to make both to get to 1,000? And he said, I wasn't paying any attention. So he did not know. but he made both free throws. The second one gave him his 1,000th career point, all with the Mastodons. So it's really great to add another name to the list of 1,000-point scorers for the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons, and it's kind of become a pretty regular thing with Coach Kaufman's groups. End up with 1,000-point scorers. So a big night personally for Hadnot. Tough night for the team. Still over 500 in the league, 8-6 record. But what about this Horizon League?
It's crazy.
I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
The horizon. They say the horizon's going to be horizon, and it absolutely is. It is dog eat dog. Now, on the women's side, it seems like it's always been the haves and the have-nots. Like you had 2 or 3 teams. It was Green Bay and Cleveland State for a couple of years. Then all of a sudden, the Dons made a move with Maria Marchesano coming in, and the Dons joined the haves. And so then you had 3 halves and then a battle for whoever was going to be the 4th-place team. Now, all of a sudden, on the women's side, it's starting to even up a little bit. Youngstown State's got a really good basketball team. Robert Morris has a good basketball team. North Kentucky changed coaches. They've got a really good basketball team. So, you've got Green Bay right now head and shoulders above the rest of the pack. And maybe they're the only have among the group because they're undefeated and they're like 5 games clear of everyone else, maybe even 6 games. But I know they're at least 5 clear of everyone else. And they've already guaranteed themselves at least a share of the Horizon League championship. But on the women's side, things are starting to tighten up and kind of jam up. But on the men's side, it's real. I mean, the league leader is 11-3. Oakland is a game behind with 4 losses. And then you start looking at that pack with 6 losses, 6 losses, 6 losses, 6 losses, 7 losses. I mean, they're just and the thing is, we've already seen the teams at the bottom of the league have beaten the top of the league. Cleveland State was the hottest team in the Horizon League. They had won 5 straight games. And IU Indy already knocked off, was it Oakland, at Oakland. They were, IU Indy, the last place team. It's one of their 2 conference wins against Oakland. And then they go out and beat Cleveland State and end the league's longest winning streak. And so, anybody could win this tournament. And here's why. There are certain teams that I don't know they can win 3 straight games against Horizon League opponents. I just don't know if they can win 3 in a row. But there's a lot of teams that could win any one game. And then what you do is you completely throw the bracket out of whack. I mean, it wouldn't be completely out of the question that every lower seed could win a first round game.
I mean,
and then you've got like seeds 5 through 9 or whatever competing for the championship down in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why these games ultimately may not matter.
Yeah, it just goes back to your point earlier about as long as you're in the Horizon League, you're probably going to have a chance to make the tournament. And as of right now, the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons will do that. And by the Horizon League tournament, I mean, so that's your shot. That's your shot. You got to have your shot then. You got to play your best basketball then. Make it.
And the Dons showed last night they can play with anybody. They have now played all of the top teams. The only team they have not played yet, at least once, is IU Indy. And they'll play them twice in the last 2 weeks of the season, which is a little odd. But part of that is because of the snowstorm that postponed one of the games. But the Mastodons have played everyone else, and they've proven, I think, that they are capable of beating everyone else. Now they're 0-2 against Oakland, but they would tell you they didn't do all of their things at the level they should have done when they played them here in Fort Wayne. They only lost by 8 points when they played up in Oakland. But you look at the game against Wright State last night. Don's had opportunities. It was that one flurry, that quick flurry where they hit. Not only did Pickett hit 3 threes, but they had another guy who hit a 3, and a 12-point burst in a minute and a half, and that's about all it took. And tough night. Didn't get the win, didn't get the Waffle House. That's the tradition. The Dons go to Waffle House after victories at Wright State, and they had won 3 in a row at Wright State, so it had become kind of an annual expectation that after you play Wright State, you go to Waffle House. No Waffle House last night.
What's your if you had gone, what's your Waffle House order? You just get a waffle? What do you get?
I don't know. I don't even know what it's called. I go to Waffle House whenever the Dons beat Wright State. And I don't know that I've ever been to a Waffle House other than those 3 times.
Man, but no, like you said, you just got to take these positives and put it all together once it comes tournament time. So
I'm gonna probably end up on my plate with a waffle, hash browns, maybe a scrambled egg. Or
good call.
That's probably my choice. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if you just order it a la carte. I don't know. But anyway, so a pretty wild night of basketball. You know where else there was a wild night of basketball?
Where else?
High school basketball, girls basketball, sectional championships.
Oh, yeah.
Got to talk about Norwell Homestead.
What a game.
Spartans let it slip away, and I don't know what this does to the legacy of this core group of Spartans. We've watched them develop. We have had high expectations from them because they are very talented. They've got depth. They've got a number of skills. The one thing they didn't have is anybody dominant at the basket. That didn't make the difference last night. I'll tell you what, it is, and this is nothing against Rod Parker, because I think the world of Rod Parker. But never bet against Eric Thornton. I mean, the guy can flat out coach.
Yeah.
And you've got a team that's down a dozen in the second half. And you stay, true to yourself. You run your systems. You have a player that takes over with the confidence that she didn't want to see her career end. Vanessa Rossworm was fantastic with 28 points. I think she had 6 threes in the game.
Yep.
And Norwell comes back and gets a 1-point win over the Homestead Lady Spartans. And so you go back and you look not only at this game, but at the career of Homestead. And I've been saying, for 3 years, this was the year. Every year they'd get beat, I'd give the excuse, well, they really are a year away, or they really are a couple of years away, because this was a talented senior group. When you look at Maya Epps, Gabby Helsum, Maya Epps going to Louisville, playing in a power conference, Gabby Helsum going to a MAC school in Toledo, Whitney Ankenbrook, Carly Mollering, Kendall McLaughlin, and I'm probably forgetting players. But, you look at this core group, and they have been fantastic for 4 years. But the thing they haven't done is collect trophies. They've won. They had a 7-year sectional championship streak up until last night. Norwell broke that. How did Norwell break it? Well, the success factor bumped Norwell up from 3A and brought back the old NHC rivalry of Norwell Homestead, which we hadn't seen for a number of years. But Homestead has always had Columbia City in their way. Now they don't have Columbia City, but Norwell jumps up, and then Norwell knocks them off. So it ends a 7-game sectional championship streak. So this group ends up graduating. Over 4 years, they have 3 sectionals, 1 regional title, 0 semi-states, 0 state championship appearances.
Yeah, it's always a little bit disappointing when a group with that much talent can't receive more accolades. For sure, you want to see more. You want to see them achieve more, just because you feel like they're so good that they deserve it. But you have to be able to all come together at the right time. It's not always just about talent.
But last night it was the big Norwell comeback, and
Yeah,
now that Norwell will get to take on Snyder.
correct. I've got to consider Norwell the favorites in that. Although I've been impressed with Snyder, I like how they play their post game and some of their youth, like that freshman Mackenzie White, I believe. I just think Norwell's seniority and depth is going to be too much for Snyder.
It wasn't back on December 27th.
Oh,
Snyder has a win over Norwell this year,
interesting.
and they left little doubt they beat them 73-61.
Wow. Okay, maybe Snyder has the formula.
So
But can they do it again?
yeah, the question is that a fluke? Remember, that was right in the heart of the 3-game losing streak that Norwell had. Other than that, Norwell's been really tough to beat.
No question.
Um, but Snyder beat them 73-61 back on December 27th, and now Norwell gets a rematch. Um, this could be fun, and the IHSAA did a great bracket because they put all our local teams pretty much Eastside Whitco. They've got to go to Warsaw because unfortunately you can't have 4A, 3A, and a 2A all at the same site. But the IHSAA announced their brackets
Hmm.
and game times. And here's the thing: if we had the people and the manpower at the radio station, we because of the timing, we actually could do all 3 games on the radio. I don't think we're going to, but we'd have to have some sponsors set up and pony up some money for us to be able to pay all the people to go to all the games and pay the IHSAA broadcast fees, which a lot of people don't realize. Those are significant as well.
Hmm.
But the way the bracket was set up at Belmont, 3A will play at 1 o'clock, and that's going to be East Noble, Belmont.
Hmm.
4A is at 4 o'clock, Snyder, Norwell.
Yeah.
And then at Warsaw, you've got Whitco, number 1 ranked against 9th ranked Eastside
It's a good one.
at 7 o'clock. That's 1, 4, and 7 p.m. for the regional matchups.
Yeah.
Now, what it also means is I hope if you've got a Valentine's date, they like basketball at Whitco and Eastside. That's Valentine's night,
Ah, so
which is another factor in do we have the manpower? We've got a couple people that are young and in love, that kind of thing, at least this week.
yeah, uh, we'll see. But no, it's definitely some great matchups here in regionals. Looking forward to seeing those.
Wasn't necessarily talking about you, Adam.
No, I know. Don't worry, don't
Okay.
worry.
But, there are a lot of people that it's like Valentine's is their federal holiday. They can't work on Valentine's Day. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, no, that's impossible. I
It's like
I think we'll
Christmas.
be. I think we'll be good.
But no, the at Belmont it's 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock, and at
Mhm.
Warsaw, the regional matchup in 2A, Whitco Eastside will be a 7 o'clock tip. So
Sounds good to me, but we'll have to see what we can bring coverage of.
I still am not a fan of the format.
You don't like it?
No. To me, regional Saturday was always the best day of the year in high school basketball, where you
Yeah.
had the two a day basically, where you had the morning session, 4 teams,
Hmm.
2 winners. They had to come back that same day and play. Um, I don't like the fact that everybody has to play another week and families have to delay any plans. And it also, to me, leads to teams winning regional titles just by virtue of their region of the state or fluke sectional champions. It leads to teams getting regionals that have not earned a designation as a regional champion. Me, when you look at the history of Indiana and you look at all the teams that won regional trophies, up until a couple of years ago, all of those teams had to win a morning game and a night game. They had to win 2 games in one day to get that regional trophy in the school trophy case. Now, all you got to do is show up, and if the other sectional that you're paired against happened to have a fluke winner or was one of those, 4 or 5 team sectionals that had a bunch of teams with losing records, you win a regional, but to me, it's not the same as another regional. Like for instance, Whitco Eastside. Either team wins, they've got some bragging rights because that's a really hefty matchup. And it'd have been a lot of fun to see that as morning games that led to a night game. I just not a fan. Sorry. Don't like it. I like the big schedule. And then the other thing is semi-state is generally a little farther travel. So you're making more teams travel farther to participate in semi-state. Where regional, of course, because Fort Wayne doesn't have a host site for regional generally, you usually have to travel anyway, but
right.
But we do have Belmont, and they are playing the 4A game. Snyder Norwell. I think that will just about pack the Belmont gym.
Should be a good one.
Going to be good. Going to be good. And Whitco flexed their muscles. They proved how good they are. Belmont, man, 21-3. And you know who the 3 losses are for Belmont?
No, I don't.
Homestead, Norwell, and Warsaw.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
pretty good basketball team.
That's totally fair. Hey, I got a trivia question for you. What team in the regionals has the least amount of wins on the season?
The regionals around the whole state?
Yeah.
Man, oh man. The least number of wins or the most losses?
The least number of wins.
I'd have to guess.
Yeah, go for it.
I would guess.
Are you looking
Over
at
Academy? I don't know.
No, it's Andrean. They have 11 wins on the season. There you go. Anyway, I just wanted to throw in a fun little bit of trivia for you.
I didn't even see Andrean on my list. Of course, I only printed.
What do you mean your list?
No, my list does not have one loss record.
I'm just messing with you.
If you want to know, it's a screenshot from the IHSAA website that showed the assignments. And if you notice, that screenshot does not have one loss record. So I was not trying to cheat.
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, Andrean beat Whiting in the sectional 33, and they're going to be taking on Bremen in regional.
So did they have a losing record?
Yeah, they did.
What is it? 11 and what?
11-13.
11-13.
There you go.
All right. We got to talk a little college hoops.
Yeah.
Yesterday, IU and Purdue overlapped. It was very difficult. It was a stress of the remote yesterday, trying to bounce back and forth. Unfortunately, I was sitting in a hotel. But
that makes it easier.
Rick did mention that Warsaw lost to Northridge, so Warsaw done. So you lost both Warsaw and Homestead, 2 of the teams that were favorites to make it to state. You lost both of them in the sectional. But anyway, I started with IU and watched Purdue a little bit in the first half, came back, and then I watched throughout the overtime for IU and saw it to the finish. They get the win in overtime against Wisconsin, another game that IU needed to make a definitive statement about being an NCAA tournament team.
Right. I mean,
And I think for IU right now, first year under Darren DeVries, I think it's about making the tournament. If you
I
can win
agree.
a game, that'll be a bonus. If you win two, it's maybe a miracle. But I think it's just get to the tournament, secure your spot in the field. I mean, that's where Indiana has kind of struggled, is just getting into the tournament. So, Lamar Wilkerson was fantastic. They basically just gave him the ball and said, "You're our offense."
Yeah, I had mentioned that to you yesterday, especially late in the game there. They were relying on Wilkerson very heavily. He did come through, but man, that is a lot of ISO and just getting the ball to one player.
A little bit of the NBA style, but IU had a hot hand.
Yeah.
He had a favorable matchup, and Indiana, I think Indiana had gone through the game figuring out where the switches were going to be and how they could get the matchup they wanted against Wilkerson. And then you ended up with some foul trouble. Blackburn ended up in foul trouble, and so they started to attack him a little bit. But if nothing else is working and you've got a guy who's got a favorable matchup and is a good one-on-one player, why not?
Yeah, it's good
I don't want to
he
see that as their normal offense, but down the stretch when you need buckets, I can
yeah.
live with it.
It's good that he did find a matchup that he could drive against and take to the paint because he was 1 of 8 from 3-point range, and the whole team was only 23% from 3. So making a couple more of those might have made this game a little bit more comfortable for the Hoosiers. Would have liked to see a couple more of those fall. But like you said, you found a matchup that you can take to the paint and either draw a foul or score a bucket. So you go to that. But little dicey there. Very dicey.
Well, of course, a couple of controversial calls, but I do want to
Yeah.
mention. I do want to mention before we get to the call, Sam Alexis
Mm,
probably had his career game, and we've talked about Indiana not having any presence inside, and that Reed Bailey has been somewhat of a disappointment. But Sam Alexis showed something that you hope he can seal into a bottle and keep it.
right.
19 points on 9 of 10 shooting from the field, 7 rebounds. He clearly had his best game, and it's good to see Indiana with some kind of inside presence. But a couple of big calls that went the Hoosiers' way late,
Hmm.
and I I think one was a 50-50 and one was an obvious foul. It's just the circumstances surrounding it. A lot of people want to argue whether they should make that call or not. But the first is the charging call against Boyd of Wisconsin. Enright clearly jumped into him or jumped into his path. And old school rules, this would have without question been a block, because you have to have 2 feet established, squared up, get hit in the, in the chest between the, this was more a collision. But the question is who initiated the actual collision and contact. And I could see that call going either way. It has to be a call. Your options are call the offense, call the defense, or not call anything.
Hmm.
You had to make a call.
Right.
And if you're going to have to make a call, I could see it being a charge. I can't say the official was wrong, because given the circumstances, I probably would have called it more offensive. Did his arm come up? That's one of the questions. Did he make contact with the forearm before he made contact with the body? Because if he came up with the forearm and went in with the forearm raised, now you have an obvious charging call. So having to make that bang bang call, and you can tell the official really relished making that call, because as dramatic as he made it, he
Yeah.
threw his fist out going the other way. Officials like to get cheered once in a while too. They hear enough boos. They got a chance to actually hear a cheer. They're on the
Uh,
stage for 40 minutes of action plus overtime. It's got to make them feel good knowing, man, they satisfied 17,000 people in that arena, and they were the star of that moment because that's basically what it was. And if you're going to make a 50-50 call, you might as well make 17,000 people happy. And that's what Larry Serrato did. He
oh
delighted the
yeah,
IU Assembly Hall crowd, and Indiana got the ball, made good, and won the game. But to me, I mean, trying to look at it as unbiased as possible, that could have gone either way.
and then the other one was the Blackwell foul there on
It's a
Wilkerson.
foul.
Yeah,
Okay. What are we
yeah,
arguing? Are we arguing that they called it and you don't usually call fouls in the final seconds because you don't want to influence the outcome of a game? He stepped on the back of his leg and tripped
yeah.
him down.
It was
That is
tripping.
a
Yeah,
foul. It wasn't the body bump. It wasn't the reach in. He tripped him. It's a foul.
no question.
They got it right.
Yeah, no,
100%
I
got it
agree.
right.
I
Have to
agree.
call it. But yeah, IU, man, they're a tough team to figure out. I still
Yeah,
think, that in a lot of ways, Tucker DeVries has been disappointing. I expected a little bit more from. He is not quite as quick and athletic as you like. A lot of times he'll take off, do a crossover, and go to drive. Seems like he rarely beats his man, whether going baseline or down the lane, trying to curl the corner. He's just not that kind of a ball handler. He does attract the attention of the defense. He is a willing passer. I don't know if I'd call him a great passer, but above average skills passing the basketball and distributing. Seems to be a smart player. But I think Indiana and Indiana fans were counting on a stud. And if you look at this Indiana team and you had to say who's the best player, more nights than not, and maybe not more nights than not, but because Indiana's had different guys that would have been the best player on a given night. But it's not DeVries. It's, more nights than not, it's not Tucker DeVries. It's someone else. And I'm like, your best player, like Braden Smith at Purdue, he's your best player, and probably 95% of the time you finish the game, and he was the best player in that game. Now, regardless of the outcome, he was the best player. Indiana's not getting that from Tucker DeVries. And I think that's what they were expecting.
yeah. I think he was just a little bit overhyped, but not a bad player by any means, but definitely not what we were sold as build. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not worth paying a coach $5 million or whatever they're paying him
Right.
to get his kid for a year. It's like one of those package deals. And it was like, okay, I hope you got a good coach because the player's been all right, but not the kind of stud that's going to lead you to a national title. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, honestly, Braylon Mullins at Connecticut has probably played just as well as Tucker DeVries. That's the guy Indiana missed out on. Indiana screwed that recruiting, letting Braylon Mullins leave from just 30 miles away and let
Yeah.
him go to Connecticut and not have him in an IU uniform when he grew up an Indiana fan, wanted to be at Indiana, but Indiana screwed up the recruiting so badly. And this was not Aaron DeVries. This was the guy before, Woodson.
Yeah. So
Screwed up the recruiting so much when he's right in your backyard that he has no choice but to leave and go somewhere else. And look what he's doing with UConn.
yeah. So that was not a good era. We'll just leave it at that.
I saw Purdue then.
Mhm.
They had a real battle on their hands against a bottom feeder in the Big Ten. Oregon came to play.
Yeah,
Fortunately, Purdue's a better basketball team.
yeah, Oregon came in, what, 1-10 in Big Ten play? So, yeah, and they lose by 4. So, yeah, just bad shooting again from the other Indiana team in Purdue, from three-point range especially. They finished 28%, 5 of 18. So, but Lawyer, had a good game, so able to survive against the Ducks.
Lawyer plays well. Purdue's going to win. I
Yeah.
mean, but here's the thing with Purdue. They've lost their mojo. And when I say their mojo, it's a certain attitude you see on the court, a certain confidence that all of the players play with, especially role players who come in and have confidence to hit big shots. They
Mhm.
don't have that same bounce. They look like a team that doesn't fully believe in itself.
Yeah, it seems like the couple losses kinda really took a lot out of them, and now they're getting in dogfights with the bottom of the Big Ten, and, yeah, it just seems like they're not playing with that same level of, confidence. I think the kids would call it, aura.
Swagger. Oh,
Aura. It's
or
aura
that's
now.
the new word.
Yeah.
Okay. Swagger was probably last year's word.
Probably.
I'm
But,
usually a year behind.
yeah, they scrape by and get a good win here, or a needed win, honestly, because they had been a little bit of a spiral. So it just may take a couple more wins to get that, same level of aura back.
And on the interior, man, they've been so good inside. And I just wonder, would they be better scrapping the center, putting Trey Kaufman Wren back at the 5 and putting Benter on the floor? Buff and Jacobson, just I don't know. I don't know if that's where it's at. I mean, it's we've maybe been spoiled watching Purdue and seeing, always having that interior play where you had a guy that would go up and get a tough rebound in a crowd, or you had a guy you could lob it up to the rim and they could go up and dunk it behind the defense. And Jacobson to me is still a little soft. Just he's still work in progress. Clough, does he have Big Ten skills? He's kind of more of a traditional big man, trying to play in a more open court system with the ball screen and the pick and roll and everything like that. But I wonder if Purdue would have more spacing of the floor if they put Trey Kaufman Wren at the 5 and played a guy like Jack Benter at the 4. I don't. I just all I know is Purdue looks like a group that doesn't have 100% belief in themselves. When they take shots, and they used to take a shot and they used to have this air of confidence about them. When the
Mhm.
ball left their hands, they were already trotting back with their chest pumped out, and they knew the ball was going in. One of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. They've got a distributor who finds open shooters. I mean, everything is set up that all you have to do is make the shot. And you can tell that there's some guys that aren't real sure of their shot. And then on the interior, Smith puts balls into your pocket when you're not even looking. I mean, that's how good he is. But the problem is, and we saw it yesterday, that Braden Smith has to not only become the distributor, but he needs to become the scorer as well. And there's one guy that the rules won't let you pass to, and that's yourself. So Purdue's got to kind of figure it out, and they've got to get what they've got to get is their mojo, their confidence back. Maybe they need a big blowout win. Maybe they need to be able to go on the road and beat a Michigan. Maybe that would do it. Do they have the talent to beat Michigan? Maybe. But man, that's a good Michigan team.
It's a very
I
good
still I
Michigan
still
team.
think they're a final four. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if, Purdue can get that aura back.
little NBA news this week, Adam. Pacers, the talk of
Make
the NBA this week.
Yeah, how about it?
Once the dust settled on that big John Conchar trade, then the nation started to notice.
That was the big
And it was nice of Memphis to include Jaren Jackson in that Conchar deal because Utah was giving up a lot for Conchar. So it's nice that Memphis threw an extra player in.
sweeten the deal a little bit there.
Yeah, they
With,
had to kind of sweeten it, you know.
uh,
Conchar, was he worth 3 first rounders? Maybe 2, but
some
we'll
say
go
yes.
ahead and give you Jaren Jackson Jr. if you want him. But
Hey,
for those that missed it, by the way, the
yeah,
blockbuster trade, the biggest trade involving the most players and picks was the Utah-Memphis trade, where John Conchar was part of a deal. He was not the player traded. Everybody knows Jaren Jackson Jr. was the player that Memphis was moving on from. But John Conchar did end up with a new home. He's in Utah. So if you follow his career, because he's been out injured, so you might have taken a break following the Grizzlies if you try to keep up on what Conchar's doing. But you might want to tap into Utah. He's still injured right now, hasn't played yet with Utah, but
no, he did. He made his debut last
did
night.
he?
Yeah, he
Okay.
did.
See, I haven't even caught up yet.
He played 18 minutes, shot 2 of 4 from the field for 4 points, had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. Stuff in the stat sheet.
How about that's worth 3 first round picks right there.
Yeah, that's it. But no, also huge.
Man,
There's a huge. Everyone's mad at the Jazz because they were playing the Magic yesterday, and they had a huge lead, like 16, 17 points going into the fourth quarter, and they sat Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Yusuf Nurkic for the fourth, and ended up losing to the Jazz. So
Conchar was probably on the court at that time.
he might have been, but yeah, they're calling it very, very blatant tanking yesterday from the Utah Jazz, and people aren't happy about it. But hey, don't.
Well, the good thing about Conchar is for these guys like Markkanen and Jaren Jackson, guys that struggle, he makes his teammates better, so they will eventually become pretty good players now that they play with John Conchar.
Exactly. No, John is the definition of a team player. He's fantastic.
Wow. Was that last night they played?
Yeah. Last night, or it was like
I
afternoon.
had some work to do last night. And remember, I didn't get in until 1 a.m., so I haven't caught up yet.
Yeah, it was like afternoonish. That was one of the earlier games.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, don't make it worse. I had an excuse, and now you just ripped away my.
You were with team. Oh no, it was 7 p.m. All right, it wasn't one of the early ones.
See,
There we
I
go.
do have an excuse.
Tried to throw you under the bus there.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Friday night, but it was like Saturday morning. Yeah.
Hey, what's your Super Bowl snack today? What are you going with?
I'll be. I'm going to actually place a Pizza Hut order.
I had a feeling. Feeling you would.
I wasn't with you guys Friday, so I don't have an available pizza sitting here this weekend.
Gotta fix that.
So I will be placing an order, probably getting a pizza, some pasta, maybe some wings, kind of have something where I can go with a little bit of an assortment.
Beautiful. Sounds good.
Now, the question is, at what time will you tune in to the Super Bowl? Do you?
For this one?
It for all of the coverage and start at 3 or 4 o'clock, or do you tune it in just before kickoff? Do you watch a lot of the pregame stuff? At what point? To me, after 5 o'clock, I start thinking about making the flip. If I'm not watching something else, I'll go ahead and tune it in about an hour before kickoff. Yeah. I think I see on social media more debate about what halftime you're going to watch than who's going to win the game. But my pick for the game, I think Sam Darnold, last 2 years, has legit been one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, sometimes you just have to erase history because it taints the present. And in this case, I think Sam Darnold, still having the baggage of what he did early in his career, especially with the Jets, that people don't want to give him, and it's much like the Indiana University football story. You don't want to give them the credit they deserve and that they've earned based on how they've played of late. And I don't think people are giving Sam Darnold enough credit for how well he has played the last 2 years, including this year in Seattle. Jackson Smith Najigba has been terrific as a wide receiver, one of the top 5 or 6 wide receivers in the game right now. Seattle's defense is good enough. I just feel like West Coast game, West Coast team. To me, it leans towards Seattle. You know, is New England first year under the new coach? Young quarterback. Are they ready to be Super Bowl champions? And of course you could probably say the same thing about Seattle. They've got a new coach, almost an unknown coach. But I'm going with Seattle. 27-17.
That's right about where I was thinking too. I just think Seattle's got a better offense and enough defense to get more points than the Patriots today. So, plus I just want to see the Patriots lose too, because who likes the Patriots? But anyway, I'll take Seattle. Oh man, a score. I was gonna go with something so similar to yours, but I don't want to take something so similar. I'll do 21-10. I'll pick a little bit lower scoring game.
You could always play the Price is Right game. And, you know, if you think it's going to be over what I said, then you take like 27-18 or 28-17 instead of 27. You go
I'll
like
do. You know what?
when somebody bids 1,000 and the next guy bids 1,001, totally screwing the guy next to him.
Oh yeah, I'll
Man,
do.
if I was on contestant row, I might just haul off and throw a right hand hook right into the guy that does that to me. I'm trying to play a fair game, and they're just ripping me off blind. Okay, so we got to talk about the Pacers because I was leading into this, and we got distracted with the John Conchar deal. We got to talk about Zubats coming to the Pacers. Pacers finally get their center. They've looked for one since they decided they were not going to get Miles Turner signed, and this is their guy. They give up Mathurin. It's kind of a big giveaway, but Pacers have some depth at that position. My biggest takeaway is not what Zubats is going to do, but it's what is Jarris Walker going to do, because it's time for Jarris Walker to step up, look like a lottery pick, and play at a much higher level, because now he's probably going to be in the rotation where you had Mathurin. Now you're going to have Walker. He's got to be everything that Mathurin gave you and then some, or the improvement at center doesn't matter. It comes out in the wash. That's the way I look at it. How do you look at this trade?
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna see also if how long it takes for Zubac to reach the court for the Pacers. There's going to be a question of if he's going to be dealing with that ankle injury that they said he was playing through with the Clippers, and which is basically saying we're going to sit him for the rest of the season while we tank. But it's exciting to see what him and Tyrese Halliburton could get up to once the next season comes around. So I think it's a great get for the Pacers, no question about it. And like you said, the depth at guard position does allow them to move Mathurin. So I think it's a good move.
And yeah, it's funny because now the Pacers' entire roster of centers is costing them considerably less than what Milwaukee is paying Miles Turner.
Yeah, and he has not been great for Milwaukee either. I mean, he's been
basically what he was here, inconsistent.
Yeah. Unreliable. Not putting in enough effort when he needs to.
Although he is rebounding better in Milwaukee than he rebounded in Indiana, but anyway.
You can just leave
also,
that.
One of the big highlight deals, the Cavs pick up James Harden. You're a Knicks fan, and I think they're doing this because of the New York Knicks. Tell me, what does it mean for the matchup of the Cavs and the Knicks?
I'm not too worried. I mean, he had his debut with the Cavaliers last night against the Sacramento Kings, and the Cavs struggled with the Kings, who were sitting 4 of their better players. So, as of right now, haven't seen enough from Harden with the Cavs to make me that concerned, considering they're struggling with bottom of the barrel West Coast teams at the moment. But he did have some clutch buckets in the win last night for the Cavs. So we'll see. He hasn't been notoriously good in the playoffs either. He has kind of a reputation of being a playoff hardened, which is not a good thing. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, so quick news and notes to wrap this up. Purdue Fort Wayne women's basketball lost 2 times this week on the road. Not a good week for them. One of the things they've got to get high-level play from the best players, and didn't necessarily get the best games from a couple of their better players, and they lost. And maybe lost a game they shouldn't have lost. In fact, 2 games that they probably shouldn't have lost. If you look at it in hindsight, both teams were below them in the standings, and both teams they had beaten at home, and they ended up falling to both of them on the road. Wright State, who's near the bottom of the league, and then Cleveland State, who has not had a typical Cleveland State season. So tough week for the women. Also, girls high school basketball, once again, after last night's sectional championship result, the regionals were set by the IHSAA, and at Belmont, the regional will include a 3A title game between East Noble and Belmont. And that game will take place at 1:00. That's a rematch from a conference battle earlier this year that Belmont won rather comfortably. And then in 4A, you've got another rematch, but not a interconference matchup. It's Snyder versus Norwell. And Norwell knocked out Homestead last night. That'll be a 4:00 tip. That is a rematch of a game played December 27th when the Snyder Panthers upset the Norwell Knights 73-61. And also at Warsaw at the Tiger Den, 2A championship featuring number 1 ranked Whitco, who we had on the airwaves Friday. They will take on Eastside, ranked number 9 in the state. That game will tip at 7 p.m. Saturday night at Warsaw. All right, got nothing else, man. I'm burnt through. Burnt.
Time to kick back and watch some sports, my man.
Yeah, I'm going to put some thought this week and next weekend. Not sure what the schedule's going to be. It's probably going to be a 6:00 Sunday show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's about time that we officially go on record. Both of us. This is you too. I'm giving you plenty of time to do your homework.
Okay.
I think next Sunday we have to make our predictions of who will be the Final Four in college basketball.
All right. Sounds fun to me.
That'll be among our subjects for next week. Once again, if you're watching us, make sure you're subscribing to us, and it's free. It's no real obligation on your part, nothing that will be bombarded your direction from us. It's just a nice way to let YouTube know that we're doing okay here. But you can subscribe, click that button. Also, make sure you give us a thumbs up and like it. And please share the channel with your friends, whether you're on X, on Facebook, or on YouTube. That would just be a kind thing to do. We'd appreciate that. But anyway, that does it for us. For Adam Lundy, Brett Rum, have a great Super Bowl Sunday, everyone. We'll talk to you next.